I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. I'm out here looking like Timmy Turner, here to talk to you about anxiety. Okay, what exactly is anxiety? The way that I see it, being a practitioner that helps people through anxiety, it's almost like mental teleportation or time travel, because you're always going to the past or the future. Or you're always going to your memories or your desires. It's basically a lack of presence. Take an event that has happened to you. Let's say you arrive late to your classroom. Now, you interpret that event as being bad, which creates anxiety and gets you to feel that emotion of fear or anxiety. A lot of the times anxiety is created through something called cognitive distortions. Okay, cognition meaning the thoughts which create your reality in your world. Distortion, which means it's twisted, it's glitchy, it's not accurate, right? It's inaccurate thinking. So a lot of the times we get these twisted thoughts or inaccurate thinking that gets us to feel anxious, okay? In this video today, I'm going to be speaking about one of these cognitive distortions called all or nothing thinking. Now, if you haven't already, check out the video previous to this, which is a video all about catastrophizing, okay? It means blowing things out of proportion. So in this particular video, all or nothing thinking is sometimes also called black and white thinking or polarized thinking. It means it can either go great or horribly, okay? This is very evident in anxiety as well as depression, this kind of black and white thinking or all or nothing thinking. It is one of my personal beliefs and understandings, after also doing a lot of research into this, that this is one of the root causes of perfectionism. Why perfectionism? Because you can either believe that you're a success or a failure. One or the other. Okay, good or bad. There's no in between. There's no gray area. Okay, there's only Jedi and Sith. There's no gray. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of the times, for anxiety, we have to learn how to get to that midpoint, that sweet spot, also known as the flow state. This is what will help you overcome your anxiety, is by getting into the state of flow. So how do we get rid of this all or nothing thinking? First of all, it's to understand that it's a process, okay? It's a dynamic process that keeps shifting and keeps changing, okay? Your anxiety, even if it's generalized anxiety disorder, there will be more anxiety one day in one moment, and there will be less in another moment. So it's a dynamic state. Maybe you have a tendency to get into that state. So it's important to understand that it's not all or nothing. It's not this static thing, right? It's not this stuck thing, that I'm fixed here, and it will always be like this. That's what you want to catch. So let's say that you plan a barbecue with your friends and it starts raining that day. Now your cognitive distortion, your all or nothing thinking is saying to you, now the whole weekend is ruined because of this rain. It's important to catch this thought and understand, how can I give myself a rational and objective thought that will replace this cognitive distortion, this inaccurate thinking. How can I think accurately in this situation that will replace my inaccurate thinking? Okay? So, one idea would be, okay, this rain happened today. It's because of the bad weather. That doesn't mean the weekend is over. We can still find other fun things to do indoors, right? So that's pretty rational, pretty objective, and it's also very lighthearted in a sense, right? He's very optimistic. He's looking forward to creating with the chaos that he's handed. So there are things called passive challenges and active challenges in this world. You want your active challenges, how you challenge yourself, to override the passive challenges that the universe gives you. Okay, so you might have a challenge right now. You might be in a problem right now. You want to give yourself more problems, okay, if that makes sense. You want to give yourself more challenges so that it beats the the challenges that you're actually going through. Okay? What is a boring life? A life with no problems, no challenges, nothing. You're not overcoming anything, you're just kind of going. Okay, you're kind of just living, you're kind of just existing. The challenge is what gets you into that flow state. That's what gets you living again. That's what gets you pushing your limit, your boundary, looking forward to how can I improve, how can I grow. And that gets you feeling better. So, for this all or nothing thinking, think of it like a spectrum that's constantly changing in its dynamic. It's not the static thing that's over here and over here. And it's not split in black and white. Okay? Even in the yin and yang, you notice there's a little bit of white in the black and a little bit of black in the white, right? It's never just like, it's not like a seesaw. This dynamic is not like a seesaw where it's like I have to compromise my work so my relationship works. It's more like a harmonious orchestra where all the instruments are playing together in your life perfectly. And you can turn down the volume in one and have the volume up in another instrument. But at the same time, it's still there to create the music of the world, of the universe. Universe meaning one song, one verse, one poem. So we had to write this one poem together. And it's up to us to not get split into our split mind, right? I believe that all or nothing thinking is one of the causes of also split mind and indecisiveness, right? Because when you're a perfectionist, right? Like any little mistake means that I'm wrong, means that I'm unworthy, means that I'm a loser, I'm a failure, whatever, right? Hey, one mistake doesn't make you that. Okay, that's an event that happened to you. That is not an identity. So what can be one thought to correct it? You can tell yourself, this was a mistake that I made, but it doesn't define me as a person. That's a great, rational, very objective thought, and a very empowering thought that can get you out of that all or nothing thinking. One mistake doesn't make you a loser. 1,000 mistakes doesn't make you a loser, okay? It's just that what are you doing with those mistakes? Are you learning from them, right? It's the fact that what are you choosing to do? You can be a loser or a winner in transit, right? This is about cognitive reframing, like I said. We only reframe things that are distortions, that are inaccurate thoughts, that are there because of our emotions, because of the way we interpreted certain events in our life. Because we wrote our backstory in a certain way that makes us feel disempowered or insecure or unmotivated. That we now want to give ourselves much more of an objective and rational thought, but also empowering, right? That gets us to actually see the realistic situation and what has actually happened. This is a lot to do with the accuracy in our thoughts. Okay, and our thoughts aren't very accurate. A lot of the times we have 60,000 plus thoughts a day, and most of them are learned responses, right? Like 90% of them are just learned responses. So it's not this special thing if you're thinking this one annoying thought over and over again. That annoying thought is there to tell you something. It's there for you to look into that so that you can solve something or release something or heal yourself in a certain way. Because why else would you be getting these ruminating thoughts? Your body and your mind clearly want you to do something with it. Or you might be just holding a grudge or just latching onto it and actually being attached to the thought. Or you might have a possessiveness to the thought or the identification with it. You've identified with that particular storyline or that narrative, and now you're stuck there. It's like a broken record, right? Playing the same tune again and again. So in terms of this black and white, all or nothing type of thinking, you want to catch yourself when you start getting into this analysis paralysis mode, okay? Where you're trying to think and then you get stuck in your thoughts. That's where the root cause is the perfection. Okay, that it needs to be perfect, it needs to be right, it needs to be correct. There's only success and failure, there's nothing else in this world. Okay, yes there is. Right, there's a lot of dichotomies. Life is not this choose your own adventure novel, right? It's not like a Goosebumps book with only two options, guys. Okay? Life is not this, choose your own adventure, like press A or press B, like kind of adventure game. Okay? You have an endless buffet of options. You have an entire menu of options. You have infinite options, in fact, and decisions that you can make. Which I know may sound overwhelming even more, but it's the truth. Okay? So don't limit yourself to only two options. When you limit yourself with only two options, you are stuck with only two options. You're coming from a scarcity state of mind. But when you're thinking in terms of an abundant state of mind, now you're knowing that there is more out there. I'm not just stuck between these two choices. I can actually input new data into this machine to get out a different outcome. And maybe the certain logistics are off or a certain event is triggering you. That doesn't make you any less of a person. That does not make you unworthy in any way. In fact, that makes you very rational, and so you got to recognize that. You got to recognize the cognitive distortion that's coming up of this all or nothing thinking, and try and look for the gray area. Try and look for the middle path. Try and look for the sweet spot. Right? Let's say that you have to be assertive in a situation. You don't want to just be very nice or very rude. You want to find the sweet spot, the in-between. That is the assertiveness. If you're being charismatic, you're not too playful, you're not too serious. You're right in between, right? So try finding that own personal in-between points, right? The gray area for yourself. And also look at other options. Try to practice looking for other options. Try practice, feeling the endless array of emotions and not just good and bad, right? How are you feeling? I'm feeling great. I'm feeling awful, right? Instead of just those two polarizations and dualities, look at confusion. Look at the feeling of frustration in between. Find the in-between, between all of those, right? There's also great emotions like gratitude and joy, and there's a lot of great positive emotions too that lift you up. Acceptance being an incredible one, right? A willingness and an acceptance to change and do things. Now, of course, some of these answers in this video might not resonate with you particularly. Not 100% of you guys are going to resonate with this. And I understand if you want more personal help. So if you want more personal help or a consultation, feel free to email me at flowzoneacademy@gmail.com or sumedflowcoach@gmail.com. Or you can also send me a message on Instagram. I'm very active on there. And also, you can check out my website, flowzoneacademy.com, where you can send me a message there too, okay? There's lots of great resources on there too. That would be the next step for you if you want more of a personalized or customized help in your particular situation for your anxiety or whatever you're going through. Have an amazing day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. See you next time. Boom.